You want to talk about a resilient baseball team? They lost 7 of their last 9 games. People said they were dead in the water. And then you add in a rain delay, but they pulled out of it in a come behind win in thrilling walk-off fashion. Let's talk about those walk-off Mountaineers.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul, and I'm your host. Welcome to Walk-Off West Virginia, Locked On West Virginia, actually, but I thought that would be kind of cool to throw in there as we talk West Virginia baseball. That's right, guys. I've been getting a ton of suggestions about this. And I told you guys a couple weeks ago I wasn't ready to talk about this team. I'm still not where I want to be, but I know enough to talk about the team. I've watched some games, and I know baseball. I love baseball. I watch MLB all the time. I love the Reds. Hate me or love me for that. And also I follow JJ Weatherholt's game a lot. Any West Virginia player, always going to follow their game. But you know, the West Virginia baseball team, off to one of the best starts in the history of our school, obviously, and it just had an incredible year under Coach Saban in year one. I mean, I can only imagine what year two is going to look like from him. And it looked like they had, a hosting. They were going to host, and unfortunately, as we all know, things fell apart down the stretch for a multitude of reasons, pitching being one of those. Got to have depth in pitching. We know that. And so today, none of it mattered. Everything was behind them, 7-9. Who cares? You know, it was finally today we can just start over against a Kentucky team that is, while good, definitely doesn't have the West Virginia record. I mean, they play in the SEC, which is extremely tough. Even in baseball, it's tough in every sport now. And I think people were worried, and then all of a sudden you got a game scheduled for noon at Doug Kingsmore Stadium there in Clemson, which is a beautiful stadium. Did you guys see that stadium? It got delayed by almost 3 hours due to stormy weather. Holy cow, man! So now you're off to a bad start, and then the broadcast got shifted from ESPNU, which had a much bigger, wider audience, to ESPN Plus because of the delay. I was flipping around trying to find this thing all over the place. Like, what in the hell's going on here? And so here you go. The 2-seeded Mountaineers was 42-14. Kentucky barely over 500, 29-25. And so here we roll. First inning, what I have noted here, Kentucky loaded the bases in that first inning, and Griffin Kirn got into some trouble there. Failed to score, unfortunately, in that double play jam, and hated to see that, but it went that way for us. And then you look at Ben Cleaver, what he was able to do. He set the tone with a pretty strong opening frame, but West Virginia's was quiet on offense and had no hits. You look at the second and third innings, and then, both teams continued not to score. The Kentucky pitcher looked really good. Kirn looked really good. Cleaver looked really good. I'm sorry, Kirn. I don't know, man. For me, it was just, I love offense when I'm watching baseball, and every time somebody would get runners in scoring position, something would happen. Those first, second, and third innings, and you could tell, like, okay, this is a different environment. It's not even either of our stadiums. It's a neutral site. You could tell, like, everybody was trying to get their footing a little bit. Then Kentucky in the fourth absolutely took control because of some miscues by West Virginia on defense. They had that double, which was a shot to begin the inning, and then a bloop single. Then you got runners on the corners with no outs, and so the kid from Kentucky popped one up, I think, that should have been caught by Kirn, in my opinion, but it was, it went in the books as an error, so you have to say that he would have caught that. And then that play allowed a run to score. Then you got a double steal on a strikeout right after that. And then Kresser bobbled a grounder, man, and made a terrible throw. And that let another 2 unearned runs in. and that puts Kentucky up 3-0. And then all of a sudden you're thinking, holy cow, here we go again. This team that was so good on what people would say was a weak schedule. That's all we heard, right? Weak schedule, weak schedule. West Virginia fails to score again. A slow start at the plate for West Virginia. And then in the fifth inning, you think they're about to put it out because Kentucky had another start in the fifth inning with 2 runners on base. Kirn stranded them, though. You know, he had 47 pitches in that inning. So that's a lot of pitches, guys, in the 2 innings. Fourth and fifth innings, he threw 47 pitches, but he got him out of trouble. And then the comeback was on. West Virginia scored 2 runs to get the deficit to 3-2. You had the infield single by Logan Schwab, which extended the inning after a pretty high throw, man. That thing was up there by the Kentucky player Burkes. Kyle West got hit by a pitch. The bases were loaded. And then Reinhardt in a horrible slump, man. I think he was 1 for 20 or something like that. Benefited greatly, in my opinion, from a pretty bad throw. So, it allowed 2 runs to score. Sam White almost got that ball out of there. Deep fly ball. Wind held it up and it was caught. So, that's what happened on that right field wall. And so 6th inning, kind of more the same for Kentucky, that, they went scoreless and Kirn was in a groove. That held, and really, really starting to come on. The game was tied with West Virginia in that same 6th inning when Gavin Kelly lit off with a double, scored on a ground out to Brodie Kresser, not in the score there, and which was big. I think that was big for the mentality of this team. They needed to see themselves climb back out of this hole and for things to go positively, and basically the opposite of Kansas series. And then in the 7th, you saw both teams went scoreless again. Kirn still pitching strong deep into pitch counts, but he was getting the job done, and he's being that stabilizing force that he's been all year for West Virginia. And so was Cleaver, though. I mean, he had 6 innings for Kentucky, and they were pretty strong. He only had 1 earned run, even though with the 3 runs, struck out 5 guys. And so you get into the 8th, and Kirn is almost 120 pitches deep. And you're thinking, how much further can he go here? Hoping for the complete game. It's not looking like it's going to happen. And then Reese Basinger came out, who retired the next 2 batters. And then we're still tied. And West Virginia fails to score. You're praying to God, can you pull in front here late? No, you can't. Kentucky reached base in the 9th inning, and my butt was puckered, guys. I was so nervous watching this game. It was so nerve-wracking, man. I hate baseball for that reason sometimes, because it's like a slow burn sometimes, and then you get to the 9th inning, and it's like, so, there. And then look, and I think they had a go-ahead runner on base as well, and another throwing error, which pulled. I'm telling you, it was nervous. The runner advanced on the bunt. You have Basinger stranding the runners with a pop out, though, and a strikeout. So we got lucky there, which preserved that tie game. And then finally, Brodie Kresser, who had so many bad plays throughout the game, but has been such a great player this year, led off with a double that landed right between the left field foul line and Kentucky's left fielder. So, it was great to see that, man. And then, he got the third on the wild pitch, and then all we needed was a sac fly, and that's when Armani Guzman delivered a sac fly to score Kresser, clinching that 4-3 win. And West Virginia's, believe it or not, their first walk-off win of the year. Unbelievable. West Virginia did out-hit Kentucky 7 hits to 5 hits. 6 different players had a hit in the game today, and advanced to face the winner of the number 1 seed Clemson and USC Upstate on Saturday. So it's going to be interesting because Kentucky's in the elimination bracket. We don't care about that. Kentucky wins at enough things. But, I think this walk-off win is a massive boost for West Virginia fans because, come on, man, they lost 7 of their last 9. We talked about it entering the tournament. And this is a team that dominated the Big 12 regular season. 42-14 conference champions. So bad late, and then you get the quick exit in the Big 12 championship tournament. So this win, in my opinion, showcases the mental toughness of Steve Saban's and this crew, and Randy Mazey too. I feel like Randy Mazey's fingerprints are still all over this team. And most teams would crumble under the weight of a late season slump, guys. It's just the way it is. You know, the weather delayed start, you go down 3-0, and you're talking about a battle tested SEC opponent like Kentucky, who is beat the hell out of West Virginia all time. They're 12-2, and they were in the College World Series last year, right? The Mountaineers proved they're built for the postseason, and yes, they can come back in a game in which they're behind after this losing streak, which well, it wasn't a streak, but it was a slump. And I thought they showed some poise. Griffin Kirn is a real deal. I love to watch that. And, you know, the bat's got to come awake, guys, the rest of this tournament, because this team has a chance to be still really good, in my opinion. I still think they're going to be okay. But overall, man, this was a nerve-wracking performance. And I'll tell you, good luck to the Mountaineers and whoever they face next. But I think, you know, my pros for this one is Griffin Kern's endurance, 120 pitches. Reese Basinger coming in at clutch in the relief. You had the critical hittings by Armani Guzman, Brodie Kresser, even his redemption, and the some other people on the team like Gavin Kelly, Logan Swab, all had some nice hits. West Virginia was able to capitalize on some mistakes. Kentucky had a bad throw, and it was able to, you know, that wild pitch. So they were able to capitalize on those. They're in the winner's bracket, which is so important. You don't want to fall in the loser's bracket, you know, and then the mental toughness, and then the walk-off. So many good things, guys. And then on the bad side of things, you got to get the mistakes cleaned up, and I think Brodie Kresser will do that. You've got to wake the bats up. You can't have that slow offensive start. You know, obviously needing an opponent to err is not the way you want to win games, and so that's got to get cleaned up. The base running inefficiency, man, we out-hit them, but, man, we left a ton on the table, 0 for 5 with performance with runners in scoring position. So that inefficiency could haunt them down the line against pitching staff like Clemson's, which rank really high. So the last thing I'll say is I think Kern's 7.1 innings were great, but 118 pitches was the most he's ever thrown in a game. And who knows if he can come back for a return later in the regional. I think, you know, what if we need him in a Sunday's game or something like that? Could his arm fatigue be a concern? So those are my main concerns. But other than that, I think we'll be okay. We'll see how this team performs against possibly a number 1 seed in Clemson, although I'm not counting out Upstate in this game. I know they've got some good players as well. And hopefully I did the baseball team justice. I did a lot of research. I went back and watched some things and obviously watched the game and trying to, which, you know, there's only 63 people watching this. I know that it's not super popular to do baseball, but I felt like they deserved it today. And that's fine. You know, it's not something I expect for it to blow up or anything like that yet. But I want to be on top of it, especially if they go deep into the tournament, because I do think people will watch if West Virginia gets into the World Series or anything like that. So we'll see, the College World Series. So thank you guys for joining in. I'm going to go to break, and then after the break, what we're going to do is we're going to get to football. I've got somebody I've been wanting to talk about and haven't had a chance to, and finally I found a couple clips to really kind of highlight what I think he does well, and a couple other players as well. So I know it's more tape next, but I'm excited to show it to you. Stick around, guys. This is Locked On West Virginia. This episode of Locked On West Virginia brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, can't-miss moments. And whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip and live. With playoff performance trends, same game parlays, fans now have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. And look, what would it look like to combine live prop bets mid-game based on how the action unfolds? If you've got a read on who's heating up, you might as well back it up with the same game parlay. And then that $200, man, that could be great to add on to whatever your $5 bet hits for you. And if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. You can head to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet, and if it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. That's if you win. Make every moment more today with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. It's segment 2. Let's crack a do and talk football, baby. So there's a certain somebody that I've wanted to highlight on the show for a while, but I haven't been able to find many highlights, if any at all. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to show what I got. And even though it's not today, it's not, why he's been in college, I can only imagine he's gotten better since then. I want to talk about Clay Ash, guys. And this is somebody that, is in our running back room and is somebody that I think absolutely can make a difference. As you can see here, he is at IMG Academy, which, some people forget he was there. This is a kid that I have a lot of faith in for sure. And he is on, better get rid of that. He's a kid that is got a shot to make an impact on this roster. And I'm going to show you why. And these two clips here are going to show you two really good clips. There's a couple clips on the other one. This one might have one or two. I'm going to give you some of the abilities I really like that Clay does. So here he is right here in the shotgun at the running back spot. And as you can see, he takes the snap. And you see how quick he is. He's like a shotgun, man. Watch him here in the Wildcat formation. And he was never handing that thing off. He was keeping that thing all day, every day, right? Like there's no handoff coming here. I'm keeping it. And look how fast he is down the sideline. A great speed. And this is IMG, guys. So, very, very impressive stuff. Here he is out of the backfield. Look at that insane speed down the sidelines. And so that's one. And then you look at him here as well. He's very, he's not a tall back, right? He's probably 5'8", 5'9", I'm guessing. So it benefits him in these situations because he can hide behind offensive linemen, do different things. And just watch the agility he's got able to go left and right really easily. And see right there he is right there. You can see him planting that left leg. He's getting ready to bounce that thing out there. Just watch the agility he has. Probably one of the most underrated players on our team. Boom. And I thought he was going outside with it. But the cut inside, I'll tell you what, guys, I guarantee you, whoever it ends up being, we're going to have a star at running back. You can believe that. I truly do believe that we'll have a star at running back, no matter who it is. Maybe it's this kid. But, I'm telling you what, man, this kid has got a lot of talent. Look at this. Look at this shimmy shake here. Into the hole. Just nasty. Boom. And then shot out of a cannon and not getting caught from behind. IMG plays really, really good at competition each week as well. Here he is here, right behind the quarterback in shotgun formation. And love to see him push his offensive line to the hole. And, he just making everybody miss. And he's very good contact balance. Let's watch the play again. I don't know. Side note, watch the nose tackle for the defense here. He literally just falls. What is that? What is this? The center's like easiest play of my life. Okay, so here he is. He gets the ball, and there's a little bit of congestion here. I mean, I can't really see how big this hole is. He doesn't take it though. He follows his guard and center around, and then he takes their block. And you see how well he reads blocks. I think that's one of the things in my tape study I've noticed from him is he really reads blocks well. And you know, when there's a crease, you can see here. Watch him put his hand on big number 76 here, push him through the hole, and then his eyes are already downfield right there. Watch his head snap around, boom, right there, and he's already looking at number 73 at a way to get by him. So, boom, and he makes this kid miss in the hole. This kid here misses in the hole. This kid here misses in the hole. This kid here wraps up and gets bounces off of him, and then some speed to pull away while you're at it. Very, very impressive run from Clay Ash. Here's on a play that looks like it's going to be inside. So, and this is simply just I'm more athletic than you, and he splits the safeties right down the middle of the field. Very, very impressive job by Clay Ash. This guy's on our backfield with all the other studs that we've talked about, with Jaheim White. I mean, with Cannon Katzer, with all these guys. And I just want to see this kid get a couple touches, and maybe he will. You know, I don't know what the pecking order is for the team right now, but surely to God, you don't have a kid this talented in your backfield and he doesn't get the ball. So Clay Ash, one to watch for, guys. Now I want to move on because I don't have any more tape of Clay, but let's get to he had a ton of yards in the game. I think it said right there on the somebody asked in the chat how many yards did he have. I knew he had 350 in the like 2-game span or something like that, crazy, or 430 or something like that. I already exited out of it, but yeah, he had insane production, and he's a kid that really cares about West Virginia too. All right, so here's another one, guys, that I found that I'm so excited about. I found some Justin Harrington. Yeah, it's on. I found some Justin Harrington Oklahoma footage, practice footage. And I don't know how I've overlooked it until now. Obviously, you're going to be very impressed with what you see here. If for some reason this kid is back to his old self, we got one hell of a player on our hands here. I don't think that's anything shocking to say, but like he's NFL potential if he's healthy. Let's see what he is here. So this is him up top, guys. This is all against Oklahoma talent as well. So it's such good tape because it's against Oklahoma talent. And that's what you want to see. So here he is up top playing corner, super long arms, in press coverage. I mean, and look, here's the thing here. It does the ball doesn't come his way, but look at the route this kid puts on him. There's a lot of people that fall for this. I mean, that's a nice route, but he's right there en route with him. And, you know, if the ball had been thrown, this kid would have been Dundee. Here's another one. Nowhere. And he popped the ball out of there. Number 11 again. Let's see who that was. This was in 2023. Let's see who that was. I wonder if it was anybody that was any good. Who was number 11 at Oklahoma Sooners in 2023? See if it'll tell me really quick. You know who that is? That's Drake Stoops. I didn't realize it. Is that Drake Stoops, though? I don't think it is. Let me see here. Let me just make sure, because it's saying it's Drake Stoops, but I don't believe it. All right, number 11 was – okay, that's a quarterback. That's a quarterback. It's a linebacker. Maybe make sure I've got the right year. All right, so this was Not seeing it here either. Maybe I got the wrong year. Let me go back to 2022 and see if that's showing up. I just want to know. All right. Not showing up here either. Huh. And it's, sometimes practice jerseys aren't always the same as they're not always the same as what the actual game jerseys are either. So, sometimes it can be hard to tell, but I would like to think it was somebody pretty good. Okay, I found it. It was Jaden Hazelwood. And I don't know if he ever had a great career there or not. Let's see what he did there. Let's see. Well, it looks like he transferred out after 2020, but he did make some. He had 19 receptions for 272 yards and a couple touchdowns in 2019. He actually had a catch against West Virginia. So anyway, I don't know how important it actually is, but the name sounds familiar, man. I wonder if we ever did anything else. Guys, my insatiable curiosity here live is making me wonder. Let's see. You know what's crazy? It was with the way things are. So he ended up going to Arkansas. Okay, so he was the number one ranked wide receiver in the class of 2019 in the nation. That's pretty crazy. I'm going to assume because that name, it clicks with me. And even though it's not letting me, looks like he made it to the league. He's playing for the Eagles. So, maybe he ended up being really good, which is cool. Let's see. Okay, so he went to Oklahoma after Arkansas. It doesn't matter. He's a good player. Good enough anyways, right? So this is him against our guy Justin Harrington in coverage. And you can see that. I mean, you can tell he's a quick dude. And there's number 6. I want to look all these up just to see if any of them are good. There's number 10. I know who number 10 is. That's Theo Weiss. That's for sure Theo Weiss. And he was an excellent player at Oklahoma. Know that. So, and look, he was, if you go back and read some of the stuff on Harrington, they thought he was the best player they had on defense. So it's not shocking to see that. Look at him running. I mean, this kid right here, guys, if he is anything like what he was here, we could have the best corner in the Big 12, which he plays. I think he may play safety, but look at look at him play with these elite receivers and play well, man. So now there he was I mean, this is fun, man. I really love, this is why I love tape, you can just see it for yourself, judge it for yourself, I mean, can you imagine if we get this version of Justin Harrington? Can you imagine if we get this version? It would be such. Can you imagine him and Coates in the same back end? Look at this play he just made. I mean, look how far he had to run. He's ran 100 yards to get there. And this is him here, isn't it? Yeah. No, it was him. It was him. Oh, my God. It was him the entire way. So, holy cow, man. What a pick. And, I mean, he's 6'3", So there is a lot to like, obviously, here. Here he is against Caleb Williams. You think that's pretty good? Number 1 overall picked him off. So there's a lot of meat on this bone, certainly. And, I mean, look at the routes he had to go up against. I'm just so excited about this. The potential here is literally through the roof. And honestly, could be the most potential of anybody we got on the team. So, yeah, he caught that ball line on his back, Eric, for sure. Man, he's an interesting one for sure, guys. Definitely. All right, guys, that's all I got. Just wanted to talk a little ball. Baseball team had major congratulations to them. Hopefully they continue the success. We'll continue to cover that here. Try to, give you some of your all's wishes. I know some of you guys wanted to hear about it, so we did it. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you keep that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I will see you on the next one, guys. West Virginia baseball pulls off a big win today against UK, which we love to see. And if this is your first listen, make sure you check out our second listen as well. We love talking about the transfer portal, and Brian Smith over at the portal does it really big, and he can be your latest when it comes to rumors, portal entries, and signings. You can be the most important fan on the rapid change of the college football landscape today. Find the portal on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, and I'll see you then, guys. I'll see you later. I'm out of here. It's chilly time for me.